This is Due By Friday, a weekly challenge podcast with Merlin Mann, Alex Cox, and Max Temkin. This week's challenge, Scoot Scoot!
Alex, why we started late today because you couldn't take a shit? What happened?
I'm sorry,
it's
you
a
guys,
whole...
It's my fault.
All right, okay, back it up. Scooting back. It makes a sound and lights light
Do you want to
up.
read the text, Alex? I can read the text if you want.
Sure. Go ahead.
This is at 7:42 a.m. Pacific. Can we start 15 minutes late? I could not take my morning shit on time for reasons related to this challenge. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing I got to read at 7:42 this morning.
Yep, and
Hi, Zach.
Hi, Merlin.
and
How's
also
it going, buddy?
Oh yeah. Hey, I have buddy,
Hey.
friend
just
of
a big
the
asterisk on this episode as well.
friend of the show, Zach Gage.
Before we
is,
hear about the lack of morning shit from Alexandra, let's introduce our friend Zach.
a friend of the show, Zach Gage, is in town. He's visiting me for reasons that I'm not clear if I can talk about it on the podcast or not. Maybe we'll get into it. But
Are you doing that bro thing where you go to the gynecologist together?
Yeah, I've never been.
yeah, the
so
bro. What is it? The
I'm
bro
way
snip?
overdue.
The brosectomy?
Yeah, the brosectomy.
We're
You
getting
go
the
in there,
brosectomy this
you
week,
eat a steak, you eat a steak, and then they hit you with a speculum.
We did have a steak.
Yeah, Zach's visiting, and he rode the scooter around the office yesterday, so we thought it'd be fun to have him on
Save
to
it for
come
the
talk about
show.
it. Also, I actually didn't know this until Zach came to hang out this week, but Zach also worked on Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, the number one game in America right now. He ported it to iOS.
With Matt Bach.
Have you played that, Merlin? Are you familiar?
No.
Go get it on your iPhone during the episode.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
You'll become so delighted by it.
Tell me what it's called.
Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy on iOS.
Okay.
It's the weirdest, most delightful game, and it's
All right.
it's somewhere in between it's like a toy. Like you can just pick it up and play with
Do you
it.
think I have enough skills and
Well, I don't know. I mean, you're
manipulating
not
abilities
you're not
with my little hands?
You're not a real gamer.
Oh, it's on Steam. Oh,
No. Get it on iOS. You want to download it on your iPhone or iPad.
okay. So, Zach, hi. Welcome to
Anyway.
the show. Our friend Alexandra is going to tell us why she
Yeah,
couldn't
why
take
so
a
why
shit.
can't you take a shit?
All right. Actually, I should show you my phone. Yeah.
I don't want to touch it.
No, what?
Did it fall in the toilet?
I don't take my phone to the bathroom. I'm
Yeah,
not a
I
monster.
totally-
Oh
I
my
grab
god.
it with my sleeve here.
Max is holding my phone.
Oh
with
no!
the-
What happened? That's a really bad crack.
That's
Alex.
a real bad
For someone
crack.
who
no,
cares,
Alex.
for someone
Oh,
who
no, my
cares
phone.
and thinks more about cases, iPhone cases, than anyone I've ever met in my entire life. That this is
No,
like
no.
it's like an OCD level problem. The amount that
It is very bad.
you think about cases, you buy cases, you ask people about their
Yep.
cases. How
Yep.
did you
Yep.
do this?
Well, so Merlin, I'm
It's
going
like
to show.
it's like a really bad fracture. It's like it's like huge, and it's like a little tiny spider lines going all over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you swipe on it, little pieces of glass would embed in your finger.
I actually. Well, okay. So here's the thing. First, I need to turn off. Oh, is it? Merlin, can you introduce our challenge? I think we should just get that right out
What's
of the
happening
way.
with this program?
It's not. It's my fault. I have a device named
Oh, you're gonna blame
Kurzweil
the Scoot
underneath
Scoot
me.
for this.
It's
Alex-
underneath me, and he's
Alex
making noise. Okay,
smashed her
it's turned
phone and
off.
she's losing her mind.
Alex,
been a
also
day.
please find your
been a day.
find your photograph of your mini iPhone cases you've eaten. Please find that photo you put up recently and put it into show notes.
Okay.
How many is it? What's the actual
Can we
count of
power
phone
through the
cases?
story? So your
All
phone
right,
is
all
broken.
right,
You
all
couldn't
right.
take a
Do you want to
shit.
So
hear the
last
challenge
night-
first? What's
okay,
happening
all
on this program?
I'm so sorry. This is literally all my fault. This morning has been a whirlwind.
Guys, we're gonna have to start the show at any moment.
Okay.
Clap. I'm not gonna edit this out. Okay. So this last night I'm sorry. Okay. Story start. 72 hours ago is when I really got into riding.
I was in Amsterdam looking at the birds.
I had started this challenge, and Merlin will get into this challenge, but I was riding around a very fast device throughout the office, and I was really getting into it. I was very good at this. But as I was riding this device last night in the office, I wanted to FaceTime my brother and show him, look at how cool I am. And as I was going about the office, I dropped my phone onto our concrete floor, and it was right at the part like where you know when we go from the main office to the theater where there's a slight dip. So I don't think it would have shattered if I.
So wait, no case?
Nope. I have my case on it. And,
Call it out. What
and-
case?
and-
What case
Okay,
broke your
Who do we
iPhone?
blame?
This is the thing, guys. It is the wire cutter's pick for the best iPhone 10 case, and
Oh my
I assume a listener.
They should have tested them for 5,001 hours.
Yeah.
They owe you an apology. You should take the New York Times to court. Is it a
Well,
bouncy boy?
Get Jackie on the line.
It's
Yeah.
but
I told you to put a bomb on.
thank you to whoever sent this to me, because I didn't order it. I thought that maybe I'd like gotten high and then had like another panic attack and be like, I need to protect my phone.
Your life is so strange, Alex. I want you to really go back and listen to everything you said so far. Your life is very, very strange. Whoever sent me the case for this phone that I was using on the scoot, I dropped it. Can't take a shit.
Okay.
Alex, are you
All right.
familiar?
Yes.
Are you familiar with a man in the middle attack?
Put that into your CSS.
So now let me tell you something. So yesterday we got a little. Yesterday I was going through the mail. I'm still opening like holiday cards that we got from different vendors we work with, and we got our developer John got a letter from our domain provider. We use Gandhi.net. Just domains, no bullshit. They're great. They're not based in the U.S. and highly recommend them. And Gandhi sent us an envelope, and inside the envelope were 3 YubiKeys. Do you guys know what the YubiKey is?
Is this the thing for 2FA?
Like,
with
yes.
USB?
It's a little
Yeah.
USB.
I bought one, but I realized I can't use it on my laptop.
Yeah, they don't. They actually don't make. That's a whole separate
Yeah.
story. They don't make a. Well, anyway, so I was at a conference this weekend, and I went to a session about how to not get doxxed and have all your shit ruined. And one of the recommendations was use a YubiKey. Do not have 2-factor authentication to your phone. As you remember, like having 2-factor to the phone is part of how people like Matt Honan have gotten like owned in the past, because people can get into your phone and get the numbers and all that. But the YubiKey is like, it's like a physical 2-factor authentication device. It's a little USB dingus that authenticates you into your computer. But anyway, Gandhi sent us a little holiday card, and 3 YubiKeys come spilling out of the envelope.
Wow.
And we're John and I are staring at these things, and we're like, I don't think we could use these, because like when you get one, whatever crypto is on the key, it's like you already trust the YubiKey Corporation. That it's a little, you're already deciding to trust them, right? It's like, okay, it's a little contract between me and YubiKey that whatever crypto is on this key is secret. But now there's a third party involved, right?
Our
It's like,
domain provider.
do you know what I'm saying?
It's
like
so
it's weird, and I was like, maybe
strange.
this is a man in the middle attack. But I think that what happened with you is I think you got a man in the middle attack with the case, right? Someone wanted to break your phone. What do? Did they attack you with a hammer? No, they mail you a case, and they say, "Hey, Alex."
Call it a wetware attack.
That's right, and they say, "Hey, check this case out." But guess what? That case, it's compromised.
You know what? You're vulnerable. People know your vulnerability.
Yep. And well, actually, my mom could have been a part of this. I've never called my mother a bitch, but yet last night she was on the FaceTimer, and she was like, "Oh my God, look behind you!" And then I fell off my scoots. I fell off the scooter because I was really. It was very frightening.
It sucks. One thing that does suck about the scoot is it doesn't seem to know when there's not a person on it.
Yeah, no, and then it rolls away.
There's all kinds of ways
is
it
like-
gets confused.
This
Like,
is how Alex. This is one of the leading causes of death of like periscopers and YouTube streamers. Is they're like
Hey, guys.
they're like doing.
Hey, Mom.
They're like they're like on their hoverboard about to pop a Tide Pod in their mouth, and then it's like, and then it's like their mom is off camera like, Logan, dinner's ready.
All right. But seriously, thank you to whoever sent me this lovely gift. It it can go in and out of my pocket, and it's grippy, and it does not acquire cat hair.
Not
I'm
thank you. I mean,
excited.
I think whoever
Hold
sent you this,
on.
I think whoever sent you this case should reveal themselves so that you can sue them.
I think it's it's called a perjury trap. They sent it to you on purpose. They know what's going to happen to you. This is sickening to me. And are you still using it?
Well, this is why I could not take a poop this morning. I didn't realize how regular and healthy my bowel movements are, and usually I had to leave early to go to the Apple store, and then they're like, "Oh, we'll have to take it for the day," and I'm like, "Well, I need my phone for today, so I have an appointment for tonight." But then I went back home, and I'm like, something's not right.
You lost your window.
Yeah. You know what? It went away. It's the darndest thing. It just went away. And it was like, I'm like, oh, is this what getting old is? And then I had a bit of a tummy ache. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll just
Have one sip of coffee. About that.
Well, let's just say the issue has been resolved, and everything's back on track.
How was the quality?
Everything's fine. It's fine.
Well, I mean, no. Did you
like
get
a
some kind
Bristol
of an off-brand poop? Was it one you depend on? Did you make a sausage? What happened?
I guess it was business as usual. Just at a, I think it was like me panicking. Like I've never taken a shit in the office, or I have, but I know for a fact that everybody has already been gone from the office. We've discussed this. It's wow, my favorite game developers in the room, and this is a great story of telling. Oh.
Merlin, did you get Getting Over It? Did you get?
No, my phone's on the other side of the room, so it doesn't interfere with my USB pre 2. It's real, Alex. It's real, and I could prove it right now.
Take your phone out of the microwave.
I can't. It's out of range.
No, but I'm saying go get it. We'll stall for you.
No, it'll make a noise. It'll make and everybody will say
Crackle, 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 crackle.
Well, I just ate a whole breakfast bowl on the microphone. No one's going to complain about that.
So many people Google our website. I just
we've been hacked.
I've been hacked. I have.
All right. Well, here's why I want you to play Getting Over It is
because
we had previously done. I'm trying to get Merlin to play like good iOS games, which are out there, and I really think you would like because they fit into like a habit and usage that you already have. And I tried to get you playing Clash Royale, which I think is low key one of the most brilliant and accessible and good game designs on any platform in the last few years. You and Syracuse shit all over it on your podcast. Zach, back me up here. Clash Royale, very good game.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Very good game.
Okay, so I'm wondering though, Zach, what makes Clash Royale a good game to you? Because you are. I'm just gonna say, I think you are brilliant, and you make my favorite iOS games, and our listeners really, really love your iOS games. I'm sorry, I'm bad at making eye contact, and I'm also playing Get Over It.
Maybe you could tell the people some of the other games. Have you mentioned the bad chess game?
Mm-hmm. Listeners will remember one of our challenges was really bad chess, and
that's right.
Another game you made, Type Shift. That's
a fun game.
It is a very fun game, and people have always been upset that cucks is not recognized in the Merriam-Webster dictionary.
I'll talk to them about that right away.
Yet.
I'm a big fan of Flip Flop Solitaire, which I think is the smartest. I've never really been a solitaire junkie until this game came out. I am. Well, it's not solitaire. It's like an even more Spider Solitaire or something. But it's Spider Solitaire plus some new mechanics. And I'm probably approaching 100 hours of playtime in this game. Like I play it every single day. It's crazy. It's like Spackle. It just fits into whatever minute I have to pull up an app and like play a game. It's so good.
I feel like, Zach, you're one of those people who has really cares about people's lives and lifestyles and stuff like that. But it's really damaging to, like if I had been able to take more morning shit, I would have probably been playing Flip Flop Solitaire, and like every moment of my life is just encompassed by like threes and really bad chess. That's all it is. Merlin, do you take your phone into the bathroom?
I don't know.
This is so much adoration, you guys. I'm so uncomfortable.
Oh, welcome.
I feel like I really fit in right now with the whole vibe.
All right.
I don't like video games, but I respect them. And your games.
No, you don't.
Like a game like Threes. It shows. No, I hate video games, but it shows.
But you don't respect
it's got
them
a lot
either.
of class and polish, and I really actually do appreciate. I was playing Threes yesterday. I got almost 4,000. Really killing it. But no, I think you do amazing work, and I'm honored that you're here.
Well, Threes has nothing to do with Zach.
I know.
I
It's
put
Asher.
the little
I'm not
faces
Asher.
on the edges.
Oh, I was just mentioning it because I'm part of the same friend
the
circle.
same rat king of video boys.
All the great video boys.
Oh,
Asher made
Yes,
Puzzle Juice. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time you were working on your letter game.
Yeah,
which
Spell
was
Tower.
Spell Tower. But I think Puzzle Juice is better.
That is totally fair.
That's my take.
All the great games. Max, do you remember when Merlin interviewed Asher on Roderick on the Blind?
Yes, I felt like I was like, am I hallucinating right now? Like, did I take mushrooms right now? You know how you guys have guests all the time on Roderick on the Blind?
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to pitch us, just
They can email Francis.
Yeah, I think there's only ever been one other person other than you and John ever on Roderick on the Line, and it was my buddy Asher, and he just all of a sudden Asher pops up.
yeah, he's funny. He's funny.
Asher's great.
What was Roderick's famous quote? "This is not a game for vulnerable people."
God.
All right, we have so many fucking things to talk about.
We can hold off on the challenge. We've heard about Alex's poopy time and crack screen. Did you have anything else you wanted to bring to us this week, Max?
My electrician was over. The electrician was over at the house last week doing some finishing up some stuff in the basement, the little studio I'm building for myself, and he needed to. Oh fuck! What was he doing? He was. I don't know. He was tinkering with some lighting fixture. He had his hands all up in the guts of this lighting fixture, and pieces were coming out and stuff, and he was just like putting two wires together to like turn it on, and then like taking the wires apart to take them off. And I was like, "Oh, I know what it was. It was the fixture and the switch, and then the light switch." And he was just going in between them and like touching wires and making it go on and off. And I was like, "Hey guys, shouldn't you turn the circuit breaker off? Because when I tried to install a switch the other day, the first thing that on the internet that it said to do is turn the breaker off."
I'm sure they loved that.
And he looked at me and he was like, "No, like we don't do that." And and I was like, "Don't you get shocked? Because that's what Google said would happen." And he goes, "It's nothing more than a strong cup of coffee."
That's amazing.
I just thought that was pretty cool.
That's incredible.
Did you want to try it then yourself? I would have
No,
been
absolutely
like,
not. I turned the circuit off like a cock. But that's a strong alpha move, is that you don't even turn the circuit off. You just pull the wires apart with your bare fingers. Any electricians, but first number one, when I was trying to install, there's so much I have to talk about. So I tried to install a Wemo light switch in my house, and so I was at this conference this weekend, and I was talking to someone about that I've been going to the gym, and I've been like lifting weights, and they were like, and this is like a fitness person who was, we were talking about, I don't know, we were talking about gym shit or whatever, and he was like, "Have you noticed that your testosterone's gone up?" And I thought to myself, like, I don't think I would even know I don't know what it would feel like to have high or low testosterone or any comparative feeling about that at all.
It's like asking somebody blind from birth how they feel about colors.
Yeah, it's like,
blue's good.
Or people always ask, like, "Do you dream with pictures?" And it's like, how would they know? Like, what? They don't have any point of comparison. Like,
how do you see purple?
Yeah, whenever I meet a colorblind person, I always want to act like who like can't like Ben from Cards is like hardcore red-green colorblind. Like it's a disability red-green colorblind. Like he cannot distinguish them. And every time I talk about it with Ben, I want to know, what does it look like? What do you see? And he's like, "I don't know. How could I and it's so frustrating. I just want a straight answer. Just tell me what it looks like." But anyhow, so
you're lifting weights and you installed some electronics.
So he said, have you noticed that your testosterone's gone up? And I thought about it, and I was going to be like, well, I don't know. But then I thought, the other day I did have an urge. I had an overwhelming urge to install a Wemo smart light switch by myself in our bedroom. I was like, I should just do this. And I was like, I have a drill. And I'm pretty sure.
Very well protected drill.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have a drill. I open up the box for the Wemo Smart Light Switch, and it was like, there's 4 wires, and you just put the green on the line and the red on the other one, and the neutral and so on and so forth. And it had a little picture, and I was like, I could do this. And so I unscrew the plate of I turn the circuit off. I unscrew the plate of the light switch. I unscrew each of the switches, and I pull them out from the wall. And on the back of the light switches, this is in my bedroom. I just was like, maybe it would be nice to have a smart light switch in the bedroom, and I could turn the lights off from bed without getting out from under the my weighted anxiety blanket. And I pull the light switch out from the wall, and it has like 8 wires coming out of it. There's like a green-white stripe and like
it's a multiple choice light switch.
It's a 10. it's a low voltage. It's a 10 volt low voltage light, and it has crazy carnival wires coming out of it. And I'm holding the Wemo. I'm holding the Wemo light switch in one hand and looking at the 8 wires coming out of the other one. And I'm like, I don't know what goes to what. So I was like, maybe I can just try. I was like, in my head, I was like, how many permutations could there be? Like, because I brute force puzzles and games like this where it's like, well, how many options could there be really? And so I started doing it, and I was like, combination.
It's like a game of Battleship, but with your life.
And the thing is, it's permutations because wait, Zach, which one is order doesn't matter? Permutations or combinations? Order doesn't matter. So there's fewer.
I'm not a mathematician.
Anyway, there's fewer of them. So I did the math. And it's not that, and it was like, this is reasonable. So I wire it up, and I'm like, I'll try that. And I go into the other room, and I turn the breaker on, nothing. Wire it up, switch it over by 1, wire it up.
Process of elimination?
A brute force attack.
Brute force attack.
And anyway, it didn't work, and I broke the light switch. But then I also tweeted, hey, I was like, are there any electricians that like follow me on Twitter? And I got 100 replies from people that weren't electricians.
Oh my God.
And they were like, I know stuff about light switches, not interested. And then I got DMs. I got about 3 electricians who very helpful, who are listeners of the show, friends of the show, and they very helpfully walked me through it and explained to me that it absolutely wouldn't work and that I was pretty dumb for having tried it. and they were like, please hire an electrician.
But owing to your testosterone levels, you went and doxed some women.
Oh, yeah, I had to yell at them on Twitter.
It does sound like your testosterone has gone up.
I waited. You know what I did is I waited until a woman made a joke about how men always explain their jokes to them, and then I did a joke reply where I was like, "This is me explaining the joke to you." I was that. I was that guy. That's always funny. Listen, if you're a listener of the show, always do that.
Mm-hmm. No one's gonna get upset.
Always reply to a joke tweet with the thing that's being complained about. Oh, anyway, and then also I wasn't able to understand, I couldn't put the plate back on the light switch, so we just had like cords and the light switches hanging out of the wall for about a week until the electrician could come and fix my mistake.
And what was the electrician's reaction to your work?
Because
I've had this happen with plumbing. I've had this happen with other small home repairs where they arrive and it's just like, I tried to do my own colonoscopy. They're like, what have you begun here?
Yeah, he was like.
Did he cuck you?
Yeah, he was like, yeah, don't try to do this by yourself. Like, hire a professional. But
what was the resolution? Do you got a Wemo in your room?
The Wemos like basically don't work. They're a great product, but they basically don't work anywhere in my house because my lights are too complicated.
Aren't you a Hue man?
Excuse me?
Sorry. Are you a Hue person? Are you a Philips Hue person?
Oh no, absolutely not.
Are you a Hue man?
It took everyone in the room way too long to get the joke.
No, the Hue is a bad product and it sucks. No,
No!
I have
Boo!
normal grown up. I have
Hiss!
normal
Boo!
grown up
Hiss!
lights. I have normal grown up lights. I have halogen and LED all through the house, so
This
that
is going to be Les Mis all
so that it
over
looks
again.
good.
I'm gonna give it
No,
3
I
months.
bought a Hue thing and I installed the Hue smart bridge
you
in
did
my
it
house.
wrong. You did it wrong.
That also happened the first time you tried Les Mis.
And I got us. Listen, I was like, I installed it, and I was like, hey, this is pretty neat. And I even set it so if I wake up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, all the light is red, and I did all the right little tricks. And then I got as far as explaining to Veronica, okay, here's the deal: we can't use the light switch anymore. And
This is, God damn it, Max. This is
Not
what I'm
gonna
talking about. You need a tap switch or you need the dimmer switch.
No. Let me tell
You don't
listen to
cuck
me,
yourself.
listen to
You
me.
just put a dimmer switch
Listen
right
to
next to it. You're good to go.
Audience of Dubai Friday, heed my words.
no.
Listen to me.
Oh, no.
Merlin is wrong. Do not buy a supplemental thing. Here, listen to me. There's only one good smart home device, which is smart light switches that wire into your existing thing in the wall.
Okay. And you know that because they're
Because I've
installed
tried
where?
everything, and the other ones suck. Don't put a fucking extra tap switch in your house with a
Right.
normal
No, that's
light
crazy.
switch.
So how many
breaks
Wemo
it.
switches do you have installed and are working right now?
So the Wemo didn't work for me. But I got
so just want to clarify, now that you're an expert on
But wait,
Internet of Things
but wait.
home lighting, how many of these do you have installed
no.
right now?
it's 0. But wait a minute.
Oh, jeez. I'm sorry.
But wait a minute. I got a different product called Leviton.
Your testosterone
You
is so
were
fucking
shitting
high
on
right now.
Leviton the other day.
But I got a different product called Leviton.
No,
And they're in my basement, and they're fucking awesome. I can control the lights. I have different lighting
Leviton
scenes.
is like the Canada of smart products. You don't want that.
Gosh.
Well, the only thing that's going to work in my house it turns out, is some sort of homewares that it'll come to me.
It's
It's like a high-end
Google
homewares
Leviton.
thing.
Yes, it's incredibly
It's not
expensive.
Leviton. It's something else.
They call it, all right, you go to the website, it says port logistics and freight, military logistics, air freight, and bespoke. What is this?
You sure that's the
Just
right
get a
thing?
Leviton. Here's what you want, everyone. Get a Leviton smart light switch, and then you put it in your wall, and I can say, you know what I can say? Okay, Google, turn the lights off, and all the
Oh,
lights
that's cool.
go off.
How long have you been using the one you installed?
I don't know, a couple weeks.
You definitely have one that's installed that you're using.
I have four Leviton smart light switches, and they rule. And I can even go, Zach, what did we do last night when we were playing video games on the TV? I said, okay, Google, put the movie lights on, and all the lights changed and dimmed so that there was no glare on the screen.
That
You
is
can
true.
go from different scenes.
Are you able to control multiple rooms with it?
I only put them in one room, but yeah, eventually, yes.
Okay. All right.
And what you can do is if you have an Alexa or a Google or a whatever smart, what's the Apple Ball?
It's not.
The home ball. If you have a home ball in your room, basically those things know to associate the switches in the room with it. So if the Alexa's in the kitchen and you say, Alexa, turn the lights off, and you're standing in the kitchen, it's smart enough to just turn the kitchen lights off. It's very cool.
And sorry to everybody whose lights just got turned off.
Alexa, turn the lights back on. Alexa, set the temperature to 76 degrees.
Oh no!
Alexa, order Cards Against Humanity. Alexa,
No,
confirm.
No.
Anyhow,
All right.
Google Saudi Falcon plane.
I'm curious though. You were saying, okay, Google. Have you switched?
I bought a bunch of electronics for my basement, and I received a free Google Home, the little one, and I like
mini.
it.
The
The mini, and I like
Yeah.
it.
Oh.
I like it a lot. And I also put one in our bedroom, and the idea is that we can use voice to control. So when you're in bed, you can just use your voice to set the temperature and turn the lights off, which is pretty fucking great, to be honest. That's a situation where you do not want to get out of the covers.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
There's a lot of scuttlebutt at my kid's school about what the best voice control system is, and a lot of them prefer the Amazon product. One kid says, in particular, the Google product is way better at giving you terse answers that are smart and also really good at, guess what, Googling. That it's really good for search stuff.
One thing I like about the Google one is like without a lot, it barely has any setup. Like it's not like Alexa. Like it just goes. You don't have to install
it's
apps.
like when you get an Android device, you enter one thing and you've got all your stuff on there.
Yeah, I have to say, like, I mean, nobody tell me why it's creepy. I don't care. I know what I know the devil. I know the deal with the devil that I've made. But I can say, if I'm sitting in my office, I could say, okay, Google, what's on my calendar? And it's in Google. It has Google Calendar. It just knows. That's cool to me.
The Amazon product also does that.
Merlin, when your kid comes home from school and you ask them what they did, they tell you that everybody sat around and talked about what kind of voice-controlled device was the best device?
That's a really good question. I have a window of about 14 minutes where my child is interested in talking to me after school when she's very enthusiastic. So I find out who's in trouble. Like I found out who got sent to the office. I find out who's on the outs, who's eating weird stuff. And yeah, sometimes I get some really random stuff. I find out that Portugal the Man is currently the third most popular band at our school. I find out very interesting little out of context tidbits. But
Portugal the Man sounds like one of those Coachella, AI generated Coachella
yeah,
bands.
it's like a Markov band.
Yeah. Wait a minute now. Did you guys get sent to the office when you were in school?
Very rarely.
Yeah, rarely.
I was the only in 7th grade. I was the only person in my entire lower school, like 5th, 6th, 7th grade. I was the only person in my school that did not receive a demerit all year long. I was terrified. I was terrified of authority.
I got sent to the office to get little rewards and award.
Yeah, my kid gets that. She gets to go pick something out of the toy box.
They were like over the intercom.
Oh
like,
my God.
Alex Cox, please report to the office. You've earned one treat for narking on your fellow students. Alex Cox.
Yep. As we've discussed previously on this program, that's like my one regret in life is actually behaving and doing homework.
Look at me, Alice, I do my homework like a person.
There was no consequences, and now I'm an adult, and I have real consequences in life, like hurting myself and breaking my very expensive phone.
Not taking a shit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think I got sent to the office at least once every year that I was in school.
For what?
What happens?
Oh, well, so The thing is, I was always like Al Capone getting busted for tax evasion. Like it was never like I never got sent to the office for something bad. I'm gonna have to think about it for a second, but it was always for like yelling too loudly during playtime, or like it was never. It was
I
always
bet you
like
got caught up. You know what? I bet you got caught up in a dragnet. Because sometimes when the teacher's having a bad day, lots of kids get in trouble that don't deserve it. I've seen that happen a lot.
Right.
I bet you were in a dragnet.
I mean, I did genuinely bad stuff in school. Like I figured out how to like not like read books and not learn anything for an entire year, and like I don't know. I just genuinely like created havoc in the school, but I never got in trouble for any of that. I only ever got in trouble when it was not really my fault. But I think you're right. The teacher had a bad day, and I was already pushing buttons, and then it was just like the straw that broke the camel's back was like I was like too loud or some shit. I also did learn that if you made enough trouble in gym class and like were disruptive enough that you would get sent out in the hall to read.
That sounds great.
Yeah, exactly.
So good.
So
You
that
don't get dressed up for reading.
happened a lot to me.
Shower down to get an A.
Yeah.
I want to ask the three of you though, what happens when you get to the office? Like, do they yell at you?
It's mostly a childhood version of white torture. Like you basically just have to sit there and feel bad and worry.
Long time ago.
Mama. It's mainly white torture. Mainly it's being nervous and scared, and then you generally get a little talking to. I think a lot of times it's just the teacher needs a fucking break.
Yep. So they make you sit so you go to the office. You have a piece of paper that's like Max was sent to the office for like, you know, throwing up something in the classroom or whatever. And then you like go to the office and you give the paper to the secretary and you sit in a chair for like 20 minutes, just sweating, just trembling and sweating. And then eventually the principal or some authority figure comes out and sits you down at their desk and they're like, you were very bad. Like what can you do to not make this happen again? And then they like walk you back to class. But it is purely like, it's like psychological games.
I remember, I think it was last year on New Year's Eve, I was talking to you and another co-founder of Cards Against Humanity, Josh, about detention and how detention was basically like, I mean, it's obviously punishment for the parents because you need to drive your kid back and forth, but you would sit in a room and like do homework and read all day, and that would be paradise for me.
And you have to be quiet. Everyone has to be quiet.
But I would be able to get away from my siblings and just read quietly in an air-conditioned room all day. I should have been a terror in school. I would have had much better quality.
Yeah, don't throw me in the briar patch. Zach, what made you a bad boy?
I only got sent to the principal's office once, and it was because my friends and I had been running for student office without actually running and making inappropriate posters.
That's so cool.
And we got punished.
What was one of the posters that you made?
Oh my God. I think I just made posters that looked exactly like whoever other poster I could see. And then I would just put them up right next to them. And then I wrote, vote for Zach with no
your culture
position.
jam. That's
yeah.
good. The situation is.
Yeah, we were disrupting.
You were ad busting.
And,
Oh, God.
and yeah, so just the one time. And then they sent me to the principal's office and they actually, and then my friend, his last name was Johnson, and he made a lot of very lewd posters. And the woman
about LBJ?
about LBJ, yeah. And
elect me, and I'm going to get my trousers measured.
we
a
discovered
ball sack and a pocket knife.
we discovered
LBJ Johnson. That's pretty dirty.
the way that you got posters on the wall is you had to have them stamped, and the woman who stamped them was very nice and very old, and she would stamp anything. And
Oh my God, I had the same
really?
hack. Well, eventually we stole the stamp because we realized
my
that.
God!
Yeah, but yeah.
You're all
well,
monsters. Monsters.
he made a poster that was just vote for Johnson, but the whole thing was written in a. If you've ever seen those like poems that are written, in the shape of like a Christmas tree. You can kind
Except
of
it was LBJ.
imagine, yeah. And I was there for that one, and she went, "This is a very interesting poster."
Is that a rocket ship?
It's very creative. I have to say.
So we got sent to the principal's office, and we had to scrub desks, and the dean called me Shakespeare for the rest of the year.
Yep.
Which kind of felt like a badge of honor. Pretty
cool.
I think they were just sort of messing with us.
Because your principal was Matt Foley. Did you guys have the imminent threat of corporal punishment in your school?
Absolutely not.
What?
No.
Shit.
We're I was born in 1990, Merlin.
Oh my God.
Like,
That's the thing is if you went to the principal's office at any time when I was in public school, up to and through the mid 80s, there was a pretty good chance that you would be hit. And the student handbook even had an explanation, a disturbingly dark, fetishistic explanation of like what you were allowed to use to hit a kid with. Most teachers had a paddle on display in the class, and you might remember, Alex, about Mr. Fennell. Mr. Fennell with his paddle with the star on it, and he would hit you until the mimeograph star broke.
What?
I mean, that was the thing. It was kind of like a joke because I went to, Catholic school all my life. But that obviously, I only had a couple nuns as teachers. And the joke was like, a ruler will hit you with the ruler. But that never became a thing. In fact, I remember my parents also never did like hitting or spanking or anything like that. And I have vivid memories of one time of like my mom pulling me aside, probably because I wasn't making eye contact with somebody. And like she pinched me and it hurt so bad. And I started crying and she was absolutely horrified because she didn't mean to do that, even though she was mad. But yeah, I'm a snowflake. Never got hit. What an upper. Thanks, Merlin. Well, was that still a thing when you went to military school? Can I ask?
No. They would do more like Gitmo kind of stuff, like stress position type things.
Oh God.
But, no, I mean, this is covered in that Roderick on the Line episode. What was it called? Everybody knew what Mr. Fennell did. So the principal at the junior high was entirely empowered to swat you. I think up to 5 times. I never got it, but I lived in constant fear of it. I mean, it's like the guy who didn't throw up since Star Wars came out, but he still thinks about throwing up all the time. I lived in constant fear of being hit. And it's like I said with my daughter, like, she accidentally got hit in the nose the other day while playing a game where you try to punch a ball away. And we're talking about that difference between like somebody hitting you accidentally versus somebody hitting you on purpose, and how it's 1,000 times worse when somebody hits you on purpose.
Oh, in third grade, Andy Rubin hit me in the head with a metal baseball bat, and I'm still mad about it.
My cousin hit me with a 9-iron. I had a concussion and they were scared to take me to the hospital. I think it explains a lot.
I have a number of topics related to the coffee shop experience. I have a couple of bullet points that have accrued about coffee shops. Can I switch topics to talking about coffee shop stuff?
To make the whole coffee shop out of Black Box.
Yeah. Number one. Okay. First of all, so I went to over the holidays. I went to a Starbucks signature store. Do you guys know what that is?
I do indeed.
I actually went to 2 different Starbucks signature stores because the one in Wicker Park now is like a signature Starbucks store, and then I also went to one in the suburbs. And in both cases, it was just because like I wanted like a milkshake drink, and I was out and not at home. And
This is a safe space. It's okay. You don't need to qualify why you went to Starbucks.
So I have a theory. But the Starbucks signature stores, by the way, it's like where Starbucks is really pushing to sort of, they do experimental stuff. So the one in Wicker Park, for example, they have a pour-over bar, a separate pour-over bar.
So is it more sort of upscale?
Yeah, they're basically trying to do like third wave or I don't know, whatever it is, coffee, like fancy coffee like you'd see in an indie coffee shop, like in a Starbucks. So they have like good, correctly roasted beans, like I think they call Starbucks Reserve, and they have like a pour-over bar. But here's my theory, and I'm really hoping that a listener at Dubai Friday can help confirm this. But I have a theory that if you work at a Starbucks signature store, if you're an employee of a Starbucks signature store, that you're required to wear a hat. I think you're required to wear a cool hat, because at both of the Starbucks signature stores that I had, every single employee had a knit beanie or like a Pharrell hat or like one of those little rimmed hipster hats.
Okay.
Or a fedora.
Max, I know this is a bit, but
it's not a bit. I'm actually thinking that it might be part of the uniform.
It literally is.
How do you know?
Because Maddie works at Starbucks.
Maddie.
And They have a handbook that is a style guide of how not just the hats, but how your entire apparel, down to the shoes, which doesn't make sense.
At a normal Starbucks, you do not have to wear a hat.
Nope. Yeah, at a normal Starbucks, it depends how lax they are, but like the corporate handbook, it says you have to wear a Starbucks, like the little
they want you to wear a baseball cap.
Or
Yes.
or part of their style guide.
But what I'm saying is, so I think someone at Starbucks corporate, they were like, all right, guys, we have a marketing problem. We got a big problem on our hands here. People don't think Starbucks is cool. They don't think it's high quality, and they do think that, the whatever Buzz Killer Espresso, that you go to your local neighborhood shop that does not just serve you a big tall glass of milk, which I do not want. I do not want a big tall glass of milk. Now people like that coffee, and they like that store. They don't like our store, and the tide is turning. What do we do? So they went into the store. They look around. They're like, what's the difference between the Starbucks and this store? And they're like, okay, everyone in this store, they're wearing a cool hat. We got to get everyone wearing a cool hat.
Exactly that.
And I literally think at these Starbucks Reserve stores, they're like, what do we do to signify that you're in like a good coffee shop? And it's like, they do have different interior design and stuff, but also like, I think that they're like, you have to wear a cool hat.
It goes a step further. In urban areas, you don't need to cover your tattoos at Starbucks, where in suburban areas, you do. There are style guides for different
Could that be a
areas.
signature store thing?
It could be as well, yeah.
Like maybe at the signature, I think at the signature store, they have a different uniform code.
Maybe they have to have tattoos as well.
If you're a listener of Do by Friday, I will protect your anonymity. I'll do something involving a PGP key, which I think is a thing. But send me the thing. Send me the uniform code. I want to know what the rules are about what kind of hat you wear to create the illusion that a Starbucks signature store is like a hipster
you're
coffee
like the Julian
spot.
Assange of Starbucks.
Yeah, I want to be the Glenn Greenwald of Starbucks. Okay,
you don't
send
like
me
women?
send me the papers. Yeah. By the way, I don't know if anyone's ever gotten tweeted at or about by Glenn Greenwald, but he might have the worst audience on Twitter. It's abominable.
Oh, I think he also has a little bit of a stop clock problem.
I've been tweeted about on the one hand by like, big stop clock problem. I've been tweeted about by
saying? Like, I think he's one of those ones, maybe a little bit like some of these Mac Rumors people.
Yeah.
Where it's like they accidentally nailed it that one time and they're still getting by on the strength.
Yep, absolutely no doubt. But I've gotten tweeted about by like Mike Cernovich and many times, and it's no big deal. I mean, a few people send me nasty tweets and I move on with my life. But holy shit, the Glenn Greenwald tweet, it just doesn't end. It's just like tons and tons of people just bothering me for weeks. It's crazy. They're a really, really bad audience.
So what are you going to do? What do they call it? A pigeon drop? You got to create some kind of a sci-fi secret channel where people can send you this PDF.
Well, I think just DM me or you know what you could do is you could email me. It's max.temkin@gmail.com and no P in Temkin. And just use like go on. And here's what you do, folks. Go on Mailinator, which is like the disposable email client, or Gorilla Mail, or one of those like disposable email clients. Just mail me the guide. We'll talk about it on the show.
Are you offering a bounty?
Oh, I'll send you a treat. But the thing is, in order to receive a treat, you would have to tell me like an address. So if you want to be anonymous, the treat is that we'll make. Listen, the tweet is. Here's the treat. The treat is that you work at Starbucks and your job sucks, and we'll make fun of it on the podcast. There's your treat. Number 2, what do you guys do? Okay, so now a lot of the coffee shops I go to, they have the Square checkout experience, right?
Yes.
Now, what do you guys do when you're in a coffee shop and you ring up? Well, today Zach and I got a little bit of food. We got some drinks made. The little thing pops up on the Square, and it recommends a 20% tip. What do you guys do in that scenario?
I tap the 20%.
You do 20% at a coffee shop on the credit card?
Yeah.
Merlin?
Cash.
Zach?
I do cash if I have it, or I'll tip.
But
on
how
the
much
machine.
cash?
No one should ever use a credit card at a coffee place. That's insane.
Well, I don't. Sometimes I
You've
don't.
got a Starbucks card that goes zippy zap. That's fine. But like sitting there and waiting for your fucking pin chip thing to go through, and you put in your goddamn. No, don't do that. There are people with lives here. Lives hang in the balance.
Oh,
Carry
no.
cash.
No.
Carry $10 with you. It's not hard.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite
Yeah,
here
it's
where they have
not.
to open. No, like if I were to go into a Starbucks with cash, like my neighborhood Starbucks, they would look at me like, what's happening? Like they have to get the key to open the thing because normally everyone's like in and out with the app or with Apple Pay
Oh
or
my
with
God.
their chip cards.
I'm telling you, Apple Pay with if you know what you're doing, listen. Here's the
Apple, and there's nothing beats Apple Pay.
Here's the
when
deal.
They have it and it's working.
Well,
it's
I
the
have
best.
I have a caveat for this, which is if you're using Apple Pay for the first time, don't do it when there's a line because you will fumble with it and it will be weird and you're going to have to do it a million times.
And sometimes your card gets disconnected for absolutely no reason, and it's really embarrassing.
Sometimes you have to like go into
Like your
settings
watch.
and
You ever
put
had that where your watch just stops working? You're like, I have money, I swear.
yeah. Sometimes it's like, or it like
I feel like a poor.
Sometimes I try to like pay with something, and then it's like, oh, open the settings app and put your CCV number in. And it's like, fuck you, I'm trying to buy a coffee. There's people in line. But so you have to go in. You have to be a fucking operator. This is a special ops mission. You have to go in. You're SEAL Team 6, okay? You can't be fumbling around your little Batman utility belt looking for the flashbang. You got to know the hotkeys. You got to go in. Do you know what I'm saying? Double tap the card, hold it to the reader, boop, boop, done, walk away. Hands up in the air.
If you're
I'm
doing like
done.
a Munich thing and you're going to try and rescue some hostages, let's not have that be the first day you decide to learn how to rappel. Plan ahead.
Learn how to use the pressure cooker before you go on Top Chef. You know that you're gonna have to. You know that they're gonna give you pig intestines, and you're gonna have to use the pressure cooker every fucking season. They always give you a fucking hog ear or a cow stomach, and and they have 8 minutes to cook it every season. Listen to me.
Quick fire, I think they'll make a paella.
Yeah. Every season, I've watched 22 seasons of Top Chef, and in every single one of them, they give them organ meat or a short rib or something, and they're like, "You have 10 minutes to cook this." Every season, without fail, it always happens. And every season, half the chefs are like, "I've never used a pressure cooker in my life."
Let's make risotto.
Don't go on Top Chef if you don't know how to use a pressure cooker. You will fail. Like I guarantee you, it will come up, and you're gonna be handed a pig ear, and you're gonna have to cook it, and it's only gonna work in a pressure cooker. Just know how to put the goddamn top on the pressure cooker. What are you doing?
Let me figure on top of that, because here's the other thing. I think that a lot of these millenniums, they think they're good at paying for things, Alexandra. They think they've got this wired real tight. I don't think they've had an adult figure in their life to walk in and say, "You're not paying well. You're not paying fast enough." If you're getting some lifesavers, really, we got to wait for the boop 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 with the chip, and then you put in the pin and all of that. No.
Well,
No, we need camps for this. We need to train these.
Don't remove card. Don't remove card.
Don't remove card.
Don't remove card. Don't remove card. Remove! Go!
Successful transactions.
now everyone's glad the mix is quiet, aren't they?
I feel like a poor.
Can I just quickly say my objection is I don't think that the correct amount to tip at a coffee shop is 20%. Because, and it depends, I guess it depends on exactly what you're getting. But like, okay, sometimes I'm not even getting a mixed drink. Sometimes I'm getting like a croissant. That's it.
Oh,
And
I
don't
see
think-
what you're
Do
saying.
you know what I'm saying? Like, if someone's taking something out of or a donut store, forget the coffee shop.
Yeah.
You go to the donut store. They take a donut. They put it in a little piece of wax paper, fold it over it. They hand it to you. You tap your phone, you walk away. Is that a 20% tip? Is 20% of the value of that donut
correct? If you're buying one person's worth of stuff that does not require a huge amount of hassle, there are two amounts that you should tip. $1 is standard, and if you're a nice person and like the place, it's $2 and some change. Whatever is left over for change.
Oh man,
20% seems like
I will take
kind of a lot.
Here's my deal. I will take
No,
any.
you know what though? What does that mean? That means it's $2 on $10. That's not terrible, but I wouldn't automatically hit that button.
I always downgrade to maybe the 15% tip or the 10% tip because 20%
It's like paying
is
with a
too
$2
high.
bill. You're showing your buying power.
It's too high.
man.
But if it's a cash transaction, here's the amount that you're
my
going to
God.
get is
Oh my God.
whatever changes in my hand and a dollar bill.
Yes.
So
Zach, please.
I tip. I think I tip pretty high, but I tip like $2 to $5 basically anytime I'm in a tipping situation. Because
You go up for a $300 meal at Alinea and you're like, crisp $5 bill for you, garçon.
yeah. See, well, you got to save money on the top end. It's a progressive tip.
Put some extra rolls in the bag.
Here's the thing: if the guy's coming out and he's fucking scraping my crumbs and cracking pepper on stuff, like I'll give him a 30% tip. Like if he's working, that's his whole
Sure.
thing.
So
but if you're
salad,
handing me
yeah.
a donut and a wax paper wrapper, I don't think you earn the 20%.
So I think I don't. don't go to coffee shops very often, and I think it depends. Probably it's a little bit different at like a major Starbucks or something like that. But my wife used to work at a diner, and she was the counter person at a diner. And nobody who works at the counter at a diner ever gets tipped. It's always the people who are actually preparing the
But the
things.
people at the counter are like, they're like doing a fucking ballet down there. They're
Yeah.
doing more work. They have
Because they're
more
also
customers.
like answering the phone and
Yeah,
dealing
ringing
with like
people
to-go
up,
orders.
yeah.
And so I
and
always
dealing with caviar and Postmates and all the
Oh
different
yeah,
ones. That's a lot
now
of work.
it's like a real nightmare. So I guess that's where my tipping comes from. I think probably at like Starbucks, probably the person at the coffee counter is being paid the same as the people who are prepping the coffee.
If I don't want anyone to think I'm a stingy tipper, because if I have a meal, I have actually tipped. I've gotten. It depends. Like if we have like great service at a meal, I have tipped the value of. I've given 100% tip on meals before. If we have like a great experience, or someone or you know what I love is if a server gets to know us enough to know that we want to try interesting food, and then they tell us what to try, and they're like, try this, or you guys might like this, or like if they push us out of our comfort zone and make us try new stuff, like I will give 100% tip for that, because the whole value of the meal was that we had this great person who is good at their job and made the meal memorable and good for us. But I don't know. I feel so weird about the 20% default on like a coffee shop tip. That feels egregious.
usurious.
To me. It feels wrong to me.
I think that's fair. I just
Any
assume
sort
that
of- and the other
everybody's
thing is,
being
like-
paid poorly.
Also, like, what about like self-service stuff? Like sometimes you'll be
Yeah.
at a convenience store or something where it's like, and there's like a tip option or something like that, and it's like,
Yeah, that's
anytime you
weird.
have like a Square reader, there's like a tip option, and sometimes you did all the work.
Yeah, it does seem strange that it's like invaded all processing of
Yeah,
payment.
it's weird. It's like
I always
sometimes
feel like I'm also like I don't want to be ageist, but I also feel like I'm offsetting old people, because there are people. As somebody who's worked in a fair amount of food service stuff, there are people who think the tip is whatever is left over in coins.
you're gonna be a Mr. Pink.
Yeah, right. I sometimes there's sometimes where I really like our kids going to a camp, and one of the options is you can pay for your kids' camp and more, and we're gonna pay for 2 kids' camps, because like that's a thing that you do is you pitch in. So like I'm constantly thinking about like, holy shit, how many people come into this place and tip nothing or tip joke amounts? And it's like I feel like I'm offsetting that a little bit when I overtip.
Do you think we're going to start seeing tipping on like all transactions? Like when you order from Amazon, there will be a tip
Well, you
option?
do. That is
Yeah.
there. I think maybe not Amazon, but any
No,
delivery,
Prime
all the
Now.
Grubhubs
Prime Now
and
has a tip.
yeah, there is
A
tipping on everything.
$20 suggested tip, and that was the one time in my
Ours is
life.
almost always 5.
That was the one time in my life I was like,
I feel like I've even done like courier and delivery things and apps and stuff where they basically say like, hey, we barely pay these people. Do you want to give them a tip?
That seems really fucked
Fuck
up.
you, man. Like, don't put that on me. Like, why don't we have no tipping and pay them a fair wage?
Yeah.
In fact, I even mentioned Alinea in my joke, and then in the back of my mind, I realized like Alinea. So like one of the core beliefs of Alinea and that whole
yeah.
restaurant group, which is like the highest of high end places in Chicago, is they charge a real fair price for the meal, and there is no tipping allowed in the building, and they pay their people in a above. And guess what? People stay at Alinea. I'm friends with front of house people that have worked there for 5-10 years, which is unusual in the restaurant industry. Like they've been at that job for a long time.
They're happy with the setup.
Yeah, because they don't have a tip. They earn a more than fair living like that. Why isn't the whole world like that? Just charge me more for the dinner and pay everyone
true,
a
but
fair
there's-
wage.
there's- I might be out of date on this, but I really do feel like this is true. I've been a waiter, I've been a busboy, I've done a lot of that kind of stuff. And one of the funny phenomena, at least living in retiree Florida, is that sometimes the people like Max, who may not have high expectations, but tip fairly and well, regardless of what happens. And then there are people who are dangling the idea that there's going to be this big tip if they get all this extra stuff. And they're
Yes.
frequently the worst.
oh
worst.
my God.
You mean
The
there's
higher
people
the
who
demands,
say
the more they're more seeking out some kind of vigilante justice about how they've been treated.
you're saying there's people who basically do what I do, but they say it in advance. They're like, "Hey, if you do all this stuff for us, I'll give you a big tip."
Yeah, and you would know, for example, like who the high rollers were. Somebody who would like give you $1 at the beginning of the meal or something. It's small stakes. It's Pasco County. No, but I mean, it's true. I mean, I think this is true just in society in general. There's probably an 80-20 rule somewhere. There's a Pareto principle somewhere in here about people who are the most demanding and loud are also the least grateful.
Well, it's like how Warren Buffett eats a McDonald's sandwich every day for breakfast, and
God, I love that so much.
based on like the market economy, he picks the sandwich, and his wife puts the exact change in his pocket. And it's like, what are you doing, man? Like, go get a healthy grain bowl. Look, I don't have as much money as Warren Buffett, but I had a fucking brown rice and black beans bowl.
You ever been happy to tuck into that, Max? You ever been happy to tuck into a grain bowl?
It was pretty. I don't know. Zach had
It
one.
was delicious,
It's not
but
bad.
I'm starting to
That's
think there's
punishment
something to
food.
these preservatives.
They do such a nice sandwich at the Starbucks. You can get something on like a ciabatta.
I do think the McDonald's breakfast sandwich lineup is the best thing in this. I mean, that's not even a controversial. I feel like that's a popular opinion, but it's for sure it's the best thing on
Jack
the.
in the Box has some pretty good breakfast sandwiches too.
All right, final question. What do you guys do when a store asks for your email address?
Lie.
Ooh.
Like, I've had to go to Best Buy a couple times in the last few weeks because I have to buy like, speaker cable or something that it's like, I'm in this situation where it's like I need this right now and I can't wait a day on Amazon.
That and for years that and zip code is presented like something that's legally required.
Yeah,
information.
in order to I don't know if anyone's shopped at a Best Buy. Has anyone been to a Best Buy in recent history?
Not in years.
It
Yeah, not in
is.
years.
I went 3 times in the last couple weeks because I just needed shit, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm just gonna go." And it's the checkout process is
because you get the offer of insurance, that kind of stuff.
insane. So you go up, and before they start ringing you up, can I get you a Best Buy credit card? Do you want the insurance on it? Do you want this? Do you want that? And you're like, no. Then they begin now. Now that initiates the checkout process. Begin checkout process. Now you're interfacing with the computer, and it's like zip code, email, all this information. Blah 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 blah. Then all of a sudden it's like, do you want the Best Buy credit card? And you're like, no. And then another screen pops up, and it's like, wait, before you say no, here's the features and benefits of the Best Buy credit card. And you're like, still no. And they're like,
That's pure dystopia.
and then like a screen pops up, and it's like, choose your insurance plan, and you have to like search, you have to like scan it like it's a puzzle for the like no insurance plan option. It's dark patterns all the way down. It's terrible. So what do you do? So but all the time, like anytime I go to a store, every retail store wants your email address. They always ask for it just as like a matter of procedure. What do you guys say?
Or like
tell them you don't have email.
That's what I say.
20 years, my mom has just gone, no thanks.
That's it?
And it really throws people. And
They
it
say,
works.
can I get your email address? And she just goes, no thanks.
Yep.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's kind of ingenious.
Oh my gosh.
I do Merlin's thing. I say, I don't have email.
Yeah,
And,
same.
and a lot of times I'm on my phone. A lot of
Yeah.
times, or sometimes the other thing is sometimes they'll say, can I get your phone number? And I'm on my phone texting while they say that. And then
I say it's an iPod.
And then I say, I don't have a phone.
I think the no thanks thing is really good. Like when I go to the Walgreens 4 or 5 times a day, if it's just a very small amount and I'm paying with cash like a person, and I know I'm not going to benefit from any discounts when they say your phone number, you just say no thanks. That's all you got to do.
Thank you for bringing civility, Zach.
Thank my mom.
Because I don't think the people who are charged with doing that take any particular joy in asking.
Oh, actually, now I have an idea because I do need to go to a store and have my phone repaired. I'm going to give them my mom's email address because she's responsible for
Christ.
this incident.
One time, my dad signed up for some sort of political list or something in my name, and that person's like in my normal email address and not some sort of crazy alias. And it's like I'm still paying for it. I probably my email
Try giving money to Hillary Clinton. Holy shit!
Well, just don't use your real email address.
Oh, but you give some money to a liberal cause, and goodness gracious me, it's like 80% of the hard copy mail that we get. It's like there's a crisis going on.
God forbid Move On ever gets your email address. Pretty grim.
What are you gonna do? No, you've gotten counseled on this. Going forward, what's your response gonna be?
I think I'll just say no thanks. That's actually pretty good. Is that what you do, Zach?
Yep.
You say no thanks?
You could Seinfeld them and ask them for their email.
What's your email address? You zag
This
on
has been
him.
a good transaction. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah.
In case I have some questions later.
Oh,
About the product.
no, Max, I have a
Can I
better
take
one.
a picture?
You just say to the person horrified and sad, or enthusiastic, are you hitting on me? Or are you hitting on me?
Oh, you know what I should say is like my email address is contact@bestbuy.com.
I sometimes like it's very different because
just give me your phone. I'll type it in for you.
I no, it really. I mean, this is all funny, but it does feel like these people are.
They have to
they're
do
on.
it.
They're on death's door. I mean,
Yeah.
these are not happy people behind the counter at the Best Buy.
Well, ditto at Barnes and Noble. Like one of the last, there's like we've got a local bookstore that we go to, probably every 10 days or so. But like a Barnes and Noble, it's the same. It's the same death march. We're not as bad as what you're describing, but still pretty bad. They really want you to get that card. They really want you to get like the membership card. It's like I do not prefer that. I will not have this in my wallet. This will corrupt my wallet if I get a card from every place where I ever spend money. But you're right. I mean, death's door is a good way to put it.
The other funny sign of the imminent decline of all of these stores and how badly they're doing is like, so Alex, you go to the Best Buy in Armitage by the office?
When required, and I'm in a hot panic and need a new iPhone case. Yep.
I'm very familiar with that store.
Yep.
And okay, two things about that store. Number one, there's some sort of like Hogwarts style spell happening in that store where it's like a curse. There's some that store's been like cursed by like a dark wizard where when you go in and you just want to get to the place where you're like, I just need to get to the speaker section to get the speaker cable. 800 people come up to you and they're like, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? What do you need? You looking for DVDs? You want to buy a phone? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I got it. They're all like there's a
They open their vest.
1,000 carnival barkers. And I'm going in there at prime time, baby, 5:30 o'clock at night when everyone is off work and they're all stopping at the Best Buy. But the store, there's just crickets, and I walk in and 900 people descend on me and they're like, can I show you this thing? You want to learn about this? They're like, do you want smart home devices? What do you want? We got it. And I'm like, no, leave me alone. I'm just going to speakers. And then I walk over to the audio section and and then eventually it comes down to I'm holding two spools of speaker cable in my hands and I'm like, I don't know which one I need. And then I'm looking around and I'm like,
Yes.
please help me. I need
Yes.
someone. And they're all
Yes.
gone. It's a curse. I'm telling you, it's like some sort of Voldemort magic is happening. Where the fuck do they go?
Well, that's the
That's
thing.
when I need the help, is when I'm stumbling around holding two different things in my hand.
Because they don't actually know the answer. They can
That's
tell you
true.
where the
They wouldn't-
Alexa is,
yeah.
but I go in and I'm like, oh, do you have any A to B cables? And they're like, USB A to B, and they're like,
Alex, you roll into that Best Buy like Ron Swanson. They're like, can I help you? And you're like, I know more than you, son.
Please and thank you.
But the other, here's the other thing with that Best Buy that's a sign of how badly they're doing is when you do go to check out, it used to be that the experience was you would walk up to the checkout counter. Now what they've done is they've taken boxes of televisions. Okay, so picture how big a TV box is, right? They have boxes of TVs and store displays and piles of things, like piles of PlayStations, and they've built a little maze so that you can't go to the checkout counter. You have to actually walk through, you have to slalom through this little maze, and they have like piles of stuff for you to pick up, like, oh, maybe I'll just get a drone or a video doorbell. Like, they're just like, they like won't let you get to the checkout counter. It's like the final. It always
You
feels
have
like
to run a retail gauntlet.
yeah. It's like the hedge maze from the
Shining.
Sure, I was going to say from the fourth Harry Potter book with the it's like the Triwizard Tournament.
Read another movie.
Yeah.
Cedric Diggory.
All right. What was that would have been a good place to end, but what was the challenge? We forgot to do that.
Oh, Merlin, can you tell us what the challenge was this week?
Digga. Challenge. This week the challenge falls to me, and my challenge is to ride a scoot.
So,
Specifics of the challenge. Yes, you there.
please go on.
You were to now see. Here's the thing. I had to French this up a little bit to make sure it was something that would make sense to our listeners in the event they decided to do it. So you were to acquire or borrow a self-balancing scooter, preferably a fancy Segway. And the challenge to you specifically, if available, please try to ride it for at least a mile to get it out of beginner mode. And then I want you to be prepared to discuss your experience. And if you found it useful, what might you find it useful for? Most importantly, after time writing it, please discover and share the name that you are giving to your Scoot friend.
Okay. So, first of all, origin story of this challenge, you bought a little Segway and you drive it to work, and we've been making fun of you pretty mercilessly on the podcast.
Yes.
And you were like, well, maybe you should try one. It's pretty fun. That's sort of where we're coming from on the
The
challenge.
general idea was, and the joke became, not joke, but I was saying, like, expense it. Like, take it out of our shared money. Like, I think you guys would enjoy this.
So Alex and I both got the Scoot. I got mine, I think, a day or two before Alex. Let's see. So I bought the, what did we get, Alex? We got the same one.
The Mini Plus Pro.
The Segway Mini Plus Pro. So this is, I believe this was made by a different startup. Like, I think that this is a product that was originally made by a different startup, and Segway acquired them.
Oh, interesting.
I think. And I mean, because
But just to clarify for people who haven't seen one of these, we're not talking about one of those hoverboards that blows up in a shower of sparks.
No,
this is
no,
like
no.
A pretty,
But we're also not talking about one of those normal
Job. We're not
Segways
talking
like
about the Job model.
like a police officer rides through a park.
Yeah, the one that Job rides around.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
not
that.
it's not a Job. Exactly. So the Segway, so what it is, it's kind of like a hoverboard, but it has big Segway wheels on it, and it has a little mini bar that comes up to about knee height, and you steer it by sort of pushing on that knee bar, and it's self-balancing like a Segway. It is. So I've also ridden the little hoverboards that Vine stars and rappers ride around that explode, and those are not stable, and you cannot go fast on them, and they feel, if you're an
Chintzy.
adult, they feel pretty bad and chintzy. This is not that. It feels solid, like a step.
Yeah, it's just a step. You just step onto it.
Yeah, I told that to 30 people yesterday because we taught everyone in the office how to ride it, and I gave everyone your little speech. It's a step. Just step on it.
Yeah.
Don't try to balance. It's just a step.
was
Just
useful
step
to
on.
everybody?
Every single person almost fell off the first time they got it. There's no. I don't think there's.
You know why? Because they're not treating it like a step.
It's just a step.
Well, it's just a step. The problem is you're going like, oh, it's a step, but I need to go, whoa, 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 when I get on. Don't go, whoa, 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 whoa. Just get on it. It's just a step.
With the Mini Plus Pro, there was a surprising amount. I didn't read a single piece of paperwork or instruction that came with it. I just stubbornly figured it out on my own. But there was a lot of like assembly that you had to do. Did you find that, Alex? You had to like connect the little cords and put
Yeah.
the little build the little stem that comes on it.
I still have one extra cord.
I do too.
like,
That's
wire.
that's for the
What's
camera.
that?
This thing. So this
okay.
thing. This thing has like a secondary use.
I don't have any of this.
Okay, so
Wow.
so the Smart Pro Mini Boy has the Fat Boy has a the little man, the Fat Boy. It's got a camera mount, and you can use. Some people use it as like a gimbal for your camera.
Oh, I don't have that at all.
So that cord, I believe that cord is important if you use it like a gimbal for a
That's
camera.
what the remote control is for.
Yeah. So it,
The plot thickens. Oh my god.
yeah. So this thing has like a secondary use as like expensive camera equipment.
Oh, that's what that icon is.
Mine was just you. Mine was you. Like you take it out and you have to screw in the steering stem, but that's the only thing I had on mine.
There was a little more assembly than that on ours.
Okay.
Makes a lot of noises for camera equipment.
You must be, there's an app, and I haven't really played with this, but I hope that you can turn the noises off in the app because they're extremely not helpful.
This is so different from mine. I'm so interested in this.
Does yours not make any noise?
No, just the delicious sound of wheeling down the street at 10 miles per hour. No, I think yours is fancier. I think yours is fancier than mine.
Well, first of all, ours goes faster than 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, yours is like 14. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's so cool. I wish I could get that out of mine. Mine beeps at me when I try to go too fast.
Well, so does ours. Zach, do you want to talk about
Very
your
rude.
experience of riding these little scoots?
You have a real skateboard. You're longboard or skateboard?
Both.
You do both. Okay. And you just ride a skateboard around New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. If I need to get somewhere quickly. I like walking. I'd rather walk, but I can skateboard.
Okay. So you have actual skills.
Well,
You can like balance on
technically,
stuff.
yeah, but skateboard. I mean, to balance on a skateboard is like really like a 10-minute learning curve. It seems very scary, but it's not.
It is not. No, it's hard to balancing on a skateboard and kicking and learning how to stop and learning how to fall off it.
Learning
is
how
hard.
to stop and fall is hard.
It's hard.
But the other stuff is not as bad as you would think. Like I think people get on a
being-
skateboard
yeah.
and they think that it's just going to go right out from under them, and that feeling goes away very quickly.
Have you tried? So I'm comfortable on a longboard, but have you ever tried one of those little skateboards that the kids have?
Yeah, that's what I ride around. I have a short board. It's like a little shorter than like a standard skateboard, but
Not
it
a
has
short-
big
Not a
wheels.
short board. I'm talking about the little
Oh,
ones.
like a foot?
Yeah.
No, that
You know what I'm talking
sounds
about?
a
The
little
little-
much.
they're
It's like a large
like
skate.
a Heeley, like a shoe.
Almost, yeah, basically, but they're like real small. They're like definitely the coolest thing, or they were a year ago or whatever. They're like I see people running them all over Chicago.
That seems
but
crazy.
it goes in your backpack.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that would be
compelling.
compelling.
I could not get up on one of those. Like I couldn't do
Oh,
it. I
now I
couldn't
wanna
kick
try.
and balance on it. Like I just didn't have it.
Challenge next.
Dugga.
Oh no.
The head injury challenge.
Break your clavicle.
Still haven't bought a helmet. I really need to.
So so you learned it yesterday. What was it? But you also have skills. What was that like?
Well, I don't agree with the step thing, but my story was even worse for people, which is like relates to surfing. If you've surfed it like the way that you get up on it is the same way that you get up on a surfboard, which is you just have to do it and then it's done and then you balance. You don't try to balance while you're getting on it. But that didn't help anybody, so because it turns out nobody's ridden a fucking surfboard.
I just did not find this difficult at all. I mean, I wonder if this model is different with see, when I say it's just a step, what I'm really saying is your mind is telling you, and you've certainly seen this with skateboards or Bronco bulls or anything like that, is like when you get on, your natural inclination is to overcompensate to balance. And the thing is, the thing does the balancing for you. What I'm really trying to say is don't act like you've got to go whoa, whoa, whoa to get on there. You just need to be fucking calm and let it do the work.
Right.
And
I know exactly. Now I know. Now that I'm
part to
comfortable
get
with it, I know exactly what you're talking about, which is your mind is telling you that you're getting on a board on two wheels, and that it cues a certain muscle memory in your legs of like, this thing's going to be real unstable. So when you get on it, immediately try and correct.
Like start rocking back and forth and waving your arms like a deranged chicken.
But you do. I mean, when you're on it, you do have to balance a little bit, or at least you need to like have control over your own sort of like.
You got to be aware of your body, yeah.
And I think that, like, for me, the thing that was weird about it, at least the model that that was here, is that if you put weight on it, you're not gonna, like, if you have half your weight on it and half your weight off of it, you're not gonna balance correctly on it. It's just impossible. And so you really just have to like get on it. And then once you're on it, it's not hard.
The frustrating part, the scary part is, and I think, I don't know how you get around this, but you realize how not actually smart the thing is in those situations. When it's, the way I would put it in my head is it's trying to interpret, is somebody on this or not on this? And while it thinks there's somebody still on it, it does crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It'll run into a wall and bounce around and do all this stuff before it realizes. And that's the part that I think is kind of scary.
It's adorable when that happens.
My other notes on it are, it's very fun to ride. I mean, once you get, so here's the pros, the biggest pro and the biggest con to me. Biggest pro is it feels really good to ride. It actually feels so good to ride that you don't consciously have to think about it. You can just,
no, not at all. It's almost meditative.
Yeah, you can just sort of think to yourself, I want to go over there, and it just kind of goes. It feels almost psychic.
Yes.
Like you're not.
As long as you're going forward.
No,
I nailed the backwards after 2 minutes of practice. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, the going backwards, it's like, have you ever had to back up a car with something you're towing? And like the thing is, unless you really know the tricks, you will always turn the wrong way because your brain is telling you the wrong thing. You got to put your hand on the bottom of the wheel, and there's this whole technique for doing that. Just so you know, you can also turn off the ability to go backwards for more than just a little bit. But you're right. Like my main problem is like when I'm wheeling it by hand, and I've had this thing for months, and I still always go the wrong way when I make it go backwards, and it goes whoa, off in another direction. It's really counterintuitive.
That's why I kind of feel like if it's a smart thing, like it should just do it the other way. Like why do they default to behaving like a car?
There is you know what they should do is when you get on, you have to use the app on the Smart Mini Pro Boy. When you do it the first time, you have to have the app on, and the app has a tutorial that it teaches you. They should fucking do the Halo thing where they're like back up and go left, and then whatever you do, they just set it to that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But I mean, I think like naturally, I don't think there are that many people who are going to assume that the way that this thing goes is it's
you know
like
what?
a car.
It works for me. It works perfectly for me.
Right.
I have no problems with it. But I do think if there's not an option there probably is an option in the app to be like reverse the backwards, and if there's not, they should add that because I'm sure that probably about half of people invert x-axis, right? So
well, the upsetting part is that when it becomes so natural, if you were to choose to ride this for a period of time, it becomes very natural to use. And in my case, I just wheel around the corner and just like ride into my office, and it's real easy. But there are sometimes when I'm caught kind of abruptly, and you have to do a move where you have to stop. And have you guys tried just rocking back and forth?
Yeah.
It's so fun. But there becomes times when you're like, oh, I need to move to give a wide berth to somebody going by. And you maybe panic a little bit and go the wrong way, and then you overcompensate. And pretty soon you're like that old person who's hit the accelerator instead of the brake. That's the times that I really feel like, oh, I'm on a machine that I need to remember learning.
Well, Okay, so anyway, main pro, number one, it feels really good, really, really good when
I
you're
want
on
to get
it.
extra double super credit from this. Just can we? Is it more fun than you expected?
Oh, it's
Yes.
way more fun than I expected. It's way more intuitive. I mean, the electric skateboard, you are paying attention. I mean, I love that thing, and I think the electric skateboard might be more fun to ride because it's like you're like doing it when you're riding it. But this is easy to ride. It's peaceful. It's just like you don't not even doing anything. You're just like think and boom,
Is
it
it kind of
goes.
it's like that? Some people make that distinction of riding versus driving.
Yeah.
You don't drive a rocket, you ride it. Like in this case, this is more something that you're riding, where it sounds like that skateboard is something that you're driving.
Oh, you are driving it. You're looking for if there's a fucking pebble.
Like
if
the
there's
tiniest, yeah.
if there's a pebble in the road or a bump, it's like you better know that that's coming up and adjust your body. You're constantly adjusting your body weight. That's like even the electric skateboard, which is like the very lazy man skateboard. If I ride it a lot in one day, like the next day, my like core and legs are sore because you're doing a lot of.
Right. With this, I found that you mainly just have to. It's hard to describe. You mainly just have to keep your knees not locked.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
not. Don't crouch, but like you got to keep your knees loose. And between your knees being loose and the natural mechanics of this thing,
Well, that's the key to balancing on anything ever.
I think you're probably right, but I mean, I haven't tried to do curbs on this thing, but I have no intention of doing that. But like, you can roll over grass and
All right.
dirt.
Another. I can't get up on a surfboard, but a surf term that I like is the idea of like hang loose, which means like don't have your body weight.
I like the phrase "shaka bra."
Yeah.
To me, that really encompasses the.
But do you guys know what I
Hakuna
mean? Of like,
serfdom.
it's like don't have your body be rigid when you try and do it. Like you
Yeah.
have to have your body be fluid so that you're.
And you got to fight. You got to fight it. Your inclination is to tense up.
Yeah, right. And it's like you can't, I'm just relaying advice that's been given to me that didn't stick of how to get up on a surfboard, but I like the idea of it, and that's what when you get into a flow state on a skateboard and you have a great ride and it's just everything's working. It is kind of a loose, like your body is just like your muscles are kind of slack and you're doing micro adjustments of your weight and stuff, and like that's kind of how to balance on anything ever. And also like if you're ever on something and you're gonna fall, like just don't tense up. Just like that's the secret of like falling off a skateboard too, which is another important thing of like just know how to land so that it's like loose and you roll. If you're like rigid, you're gonna break your arm.
I kind of feel like everyone should learn how to fall off a skateboard.
It's such a good skill. It comes in handy all the time. Like just like
It's
the
like
other day.
urban Aikido.
The other day,
yes.
it's helpful. The other day, I just like slipped on the ice, and like I had like muscle memory from falling off a skateboard, so that I managed the fall in a way where I didn't get hurt. But like people like break their shoulders and shit doing that.
Zach, did you teach Max how to fall off a skateboard?
No, Max has learned on his
I
own.
watch YouTube videos. Like
There
when I got my longboard, I was like, okay, I can ride this, but I'm not. It's not safe. Like I don't know how to do critical things like stop and or whatever. And then I went online and it was like how to ride a skateboard. And there's also really good videos of how to ride a skateboard in a city. And everyone is like, one of the main skills you have to learn is how to fall off. And I just watched a lot of YouTube videos and found a place with grass and you just practice.
Yeah, I think it's more so for actual skateboarding and less so for longboarding. But like if you really skateboard, you have to learn how to fall because that's what you spend all your time doing is like you're trying to learn.
I've taken some bad spills on the longboard. For me, like one of them was I tried to ride across train tracks. That's a nonsense because I thought I could do it. It looked like a small bump.
Have you ever gotten blood on your shoes from a fall?
I ruined I was wearing a jacket and I ripped the whole sleeve of the jacket like ripped open and I got a really bad like skinned arm. That was the train tracks and that was like that was the worst case scenario. It was like gravel and like broken glass and shit. Yeah.
I had a really bad fall in college and I fucked up my ankles and I got blood on my shoes and I remember just being like, how do you get blood on your shoes? This is crazy.
That's kind of cool. I'd be pretty proud of that.
I was totally proud of it.
I was like, that's kinda cool. I got blood on my shoes.
900 cc's of adrenaline. So I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Go inside.
Yeah.
Good
There's a
job.
lot going on in your head, not the least of which is sometimes your skateboard keeps going and you're just like, fuck, I gotta get my board back. Like, yeah.
So that was, in general, I felt like the Segway was really fun to ride, but I felt really kind of, I don't know, have you ever ridden like an actual scooter?
Scooter.
Like a Vespa?
No.
Okay.
I found it very difficult to change gears.
So the thing about riding like a Vespa is you feel like you're riding a motorcycle, but you are riding a scooter. And so, and that's how I felt with the Segway. Is like I felt like I was riding a skateboard, but in reality, I was standing perfectly vertically straight and like moving like a weird hovering wizard. And so I don't know. So that was like I kind of felt like I would rather stick to like a skateboard, but I was very impressed with the braking. Like, I really think that whoever is designing electric skateboards could learn a lot from the way that it brakes is just so natural and, like, convenient.
On the Segway?
Yeah. And the way that you brake on a skateboard. It uses
your body's natural... Yeah. It's like when you're going and the wall's coming, your body automatically starts going, like, up. Don't want that to happen.
You just lean back a little bit, and it interprets that as we slow down.
It's so good.
And that I'm more interested in than interpreting my body to go forward. Like, I think... deciding to go forward and making actions to go forward is easy, but like stopping on a skateboard is such a nightmare. Mostly you just leap off of it and it careens into traffic, or you like drag your foot on the ground and fuck up your shoes. It's like a terrible design. They're not designed to stop at all.
Yeah, I mean, on the longboard is a little easier because I feel like you can catch the back of. You can jump off and catch the back of it. It's kind of the cool.
And then run.
Yeah, that's kind of the coolest. That's kind of the coolest trick. But on the electric one, you just basically you have the
right. So those have a brake, right?
Well, yeah, you just go backwards. Same as it is the same as the Segway, right? So you start to slow down, and then you go hard back, and it just stops. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Anyway.
What did you name yours, Max?
Oh, I didn't name it. I didn't know that was part of the challenge. I'll probably call it the Scoot Scoot.
No, they're all Scoot Scoots.
Alex, don't peanut butter me. Drop some science. Tell me how this went for you.
This is my favorite challenge of all time.
It's up there.
What?
And riding this.
Oh my God. I had not anticipated that.
Riding this thing, there was a moment last night where I was like, is this the happiest I've been in 2018?
Oh my God, yes. I'm so glad you feel that way. It's utterly blissful. But do you feel that delta between people asking you, oh God, that sounds so dorky? And you're like, yeah, it is dorky.
It is.
But
it's so
fun
fucking
that you
stupid.
don't care how dorky it is.
Wait, I actually didn't get to this, which is the main downside, which is you look awful riding this. You look terrible riding this. I actually don't. So I have not ridden it outside of my house because the weather's been bad, but also you can't take it out in the rain, can you?
I think
you definitely cannot take an electric skateboard in the rain.
I wouldn't take it out while it's actively raining.
Could you ride it through a puddle?
I think they advise against that, but I'm not here to advise anybody to do dangerous things. But once you're comfortable with this thing, it's more rugged than it looks. Puddles are hard because you don't know how deep it is.
Best Buy warranty.
You're gonna want to get the insurance on that.
But you look awful riding this.
You know what though? I mean, it used to be if somebody drove an automobile down the road. I mean, there's so much hilarious documentation about this. People would literally line up to laugh at people driving cars. That's how it works. I mean, it was that whole idea of get a horse. This may have been
but when was this in 1857 or whatever?
Well, this is the 1857 of Segway, right?
But I'm just saying, in 1857, I wouldn't have driven a car either.
Well, they couldn't
because I wouldn't want people to laugh at me.
Twitter in 1857.
No, it's funny though because I mean you can feel me on
let me say something about this. Okay, I'm about to pop off on one of my patented rants here.
Do you know what
I like about these very nerdy sort of convention guys that I want to show you my Funko Pop collection. That guy, right? That guy is one of their big talking points that you'll see on forums or that they'll post on Twitter. Or you'll hear at conventions or whatever when they're in line to take a shit and they're talking about the politics of the day, the issues of the day in the forum. What they'll say is, I was born in the wrong time. I should have been born in medieval times. I would have been a knight. And you wouldn't have been a knight. you would have been a big fat guy who collected dolls, and probably the knights would have bullied you. But do you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah.
Or if you were in people want to be I wish I was alive in Star Trek days and I could be a commander on the starship. And it's you not going to be a commander on the starship. You'd be a janitor on the starship.
Wait, where was this going?
All I'm saying is, if any of us were alive, all I'm saying is, if you were alive in 1857, you'd be doing the
I would be
same shit that you
dead.
do now, which is
It would be worse. I would
people,
absolutely be dead.
you would have already died in
Yeah,
childbirth.
yeah.
But there was no lesbian challenge coin in 1957.
No.
But
Burned at the stake already.
But all I'm saying is like.
It's the witchcraft challenge coin.
If people would have laughed at you for driving a car in 1857, I wouldn't have driven a car.
Yeah.
I don't want to be laughed at. I don't want to be laughed at in 1957. I don't want to be laughed at in Star Trek. I don't want to be laughed at now.
And that's why you ride that cool skateboard.
As someone
The
who's
skateboard is legitimately cool. Skateboards are
Definitely
cool.
very cool.
very, very cool.
It's cool.
Do you do tricks?
No. Zach, help me out here. Riding a longboard is cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Not
And
to other
super
skateboarders.
cool.
You're basically like pollution to other skateboarders. Skateboarders hate longboarders, but to everyone else, you look cool.
I think it's skateboarding, longboarding, electric longboarding.
And
is the
everybody
coolest
Oh,
thing.
you're the bottom of the food chain.
But still,
in the
you're
ecosystem.
still skateboarding.
No. Here's the thing. As people who skateboard have utter disdain for you if you ride an electric longboard. Like they couldn't think that you're the worst person. But
Right.
that being said, that's a tiny. But the most people, if I'm riding this thing down the Bloomingdale Trail and I'm going to work, most people are like, "That's a cool guy on a skateboard." Like the public does not gape with their
do you
mouths
get out-
open.
How do you get out of the Shire?
I think it's just I think it's like there's like the pose and the way that you have to interact with it is just it's like a cooler thing. It's hard to look uncool on a skateboard, I think.
You guys are sniffing your farts so hard right now. You guys look so dorky on a skateboard.
Well,
Don't
no, I
imagine
think
for a
it's
second
also
you look
like
that
it's,
much
you
cooler.
know-
Zach can like skateboard though.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Preach.
I will say that there's something about this stupid thing that it's just such a delight. And part of your challenge, I believe, was to think about what we would use it for. And
Yeah, right.
there's a grocery store a half mile away from my house, which is like normally
amount.
it's like perfect walking distance if you want to like go get a thing or go do a thing. But if you want to have groceries, it's like, it's just like,
But it's also that
lot.
a half mile is like definitely in the hesitation zone.
Yeah.
Where if it was 2 blocks away, you'd go there in your PJs. But
Exactly.
half a mile is like in the hesitation zone.
Alex, would you
Right.
ride this? Are you going to ride the scoot to work?
Actually, I'm trying to figure out a safer,
You
safe
couldn't.
route.
I don't think you can go down
but-
Ashland on this.
No, you can't go down Ashland, but there
but
are
you
like
could do
other ways. Like I could do like Diversey and like
Upsex.
No.
Upset. Upset,
Diversity
upset.
is Diversity does not have a protected bike lane.
that's the thing though. I need to do sidewalks because Savannah was like,
No,
a
listen to me.
biker's gonna kill you. And
No,
I'm
no,
like, yeah, probably.
no. Listen, you can't ride this thing on the sidewalk. It is dangerous to ride this on the sidewalk. You have to ride it in the bike lane. This is more like a skateboard. You cannot ride something with wheels on a sidewalk. It's not safe.
Because
You'll
of the
see what I mean
cracks.
when you try it. Yeah. You'll see what I mean when you try
I
it.
ride exclusively on sidewalks.
You do?
Yeah. I live in the sunset.
I
Nobody
have
does here.
some skateboard wheel recommendations for you later, man.
Really?
Oh, man.
Do you know how to adjust the trucks on a skateboard?
Yeah.
I tried to do it and I made it
You
worse.
get a hex wrench.
Okay.
Just a hex wrench.
Yeah, I can
Okay.
help you with that.
There's a thing on the Reddit for
Are
the
your
what's
wheels
this-
hitting your board? Are you getting like
No, they're just a little. They're a little loosey
Euphemism?
goosey.
Oh, okay.
So I loosened them
Oh,
because I
yeah.
wanted a better turning radius, and I overdid
Yeah.
it. And there's also some horror stories on what's the board that I have, Alex? The
Boosted
yeah,
board.
there's a thing on the Reddit
Boosted
boosted board of they're like all these people who are like posting a picture from a hospital bed, and they're like, yeah, the trucks came off my boosted board. Pretty cool.
You should also make sure you also ollie warp the kick flim. If you ollie warp the kick flim, you're going to get a lot more brustic in your 1080.
Yeah.
Let me walk you through our Donnelly nuts.
Yeah, the thing is that we bolster 12 hex nets to the. Using a field of half-seas sprats and brass-fitted nickel slits, our bracketed caps and splay-fexed brace columns vent dampers to dampening hatch depths of 1/2 meter from the damper crown to the spur of plinth. How, you may ask? Well, we bolter 12 husk nuts to each jerry girdle, which flex tandems press a task apparatus of 10 vertically composited patch hamplers, then pin flam-fastened pan traps at both maiden apexes of the gym joints. You know, just a little something like that, Merlin.
Yeah, the one with the girl's name.
All right, we're probably good.